All right, you're good.
All right. Good evening. It is Wednesday, August 19th at 6:33 p.m. and I'm calling this Laws and Rules Committee meeting to order. In attendance, we have myself, Chair Alderwoman Hirsch, Alderwoman Katz. Sitting in for Alderman Dennison is Alderman Ham. Sitting in for Alderwoman Mercy Marbelli is Alderman Michael Tierney. And then we have Alderwoman Terrell Miggins. We have a quorum. So first thing on the agenda this evening, under new business, is a request to modify the Arts Commission. The Arts Commission resolution, or just the makeup of the Arts Commission. Why don't you come up? Yeah, and it's funny, sorry.
Don't have enough of these, but just to give you a clue, what's in the codes. Well, I'm not sure what it'll be. Actually, we are having a share. Oh my goodness, these things are these. No, I know, I think those chairs are very low. It's a top of the chair.
Hi, go ahead. And what's what you're doing? Okay, yeah.
Thank you for seeing me today. This is the request to modify the current Kingston Arts Commission resolution to add.
Do you mean the code? You say the resolution, you mean modify the code?
I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah, I would think so. Like if we did something last year,
We added the,
the resolution to change part of the code of the Arts Commission. And you want to change that code, right?
to add 2 more members.
So it's changing the code.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you.
delete number. Okay. I'll delete in the bonus can.
I'll take care of the logistics, you take care of the fun stuff.
I handed out, just a brief for you all to reflect on. The Arts Commission is getting, the work of the Arts Commission is getting a bit overwhelming. We need to break out into some subcommittees. We will not be adding any more formal committees, but we are going to be breaking out subcommittees, and these subcommittees have to be chaired or led by a commission member. The addition of 2, and we have identified 2 members who can roll up their sleeves and take on projects, would be helping to spearhead the initiatives as follows. The Arts and Culture Master Plan rebuild, as you all might recall, that Arts Commission, that Arts and Culture Master Plan was created before COVID. It was finalized just after COVID. A lot of things have changed. It's time for an upgrade. One of our commissioners will be chairing that subcommittee. We are looking to build, now that we've made so many accomplishments, and Arts Alliance, gone are the days where it's going to keep working, that the small organizations compete with each other for the same funding, going to work out for the whole. Also, we have common concerns. We have had executive director meetings for the last 2 years, and the executive directors are all speaking in the same voice, that they have common concerns. They cannot afford healthcare for their employees. They need help with fund raising and diversifying funding streams, and also are looking to collaborate with other organizations. I think that things like that should be led in the beginning by the Kingston Arts Commission. I think that there's a few organizations that that raise their hands that they want to help to spearhead this, that would be able to take it on once we start it. So it's not a permanent committee at all. It is a subcommittee, but it is going to be led by me in the beginning, and then we'll hand that off again to a strong organization. But I really believe that this has to stay under the umbrella of the City of Kingston Arts Communities, and is agreed by the City of Kingston Arts Commission. We have the 615 Broadway Deep Listening Plaza project coming up. The shovel evidently is going in the ground next month. We are being asked by Baxter to partner. I haven't seen a model for this. It would be a lot easier for us if there was a model. that can give us a reflection of a successful project between a developer, a contractor, and a municipality. There is not one, but they are asking for our help as far as positioning the artwork, but also to help them raise funds and also to continue the programming there, the arts and culture programming. They've also asked us to help with filling the empty, the opportunities for space to small businesses and individuals or whatever, helping them to identify it. I love this because too often when opportunities like this arise, perhaps those locals that we are looking after do not have time to actually hear about such opportunities and relocate to more affordable location. So I'm glad about that. I'm really looking forward to working with them, but that needs to break off into a subcommittee at this point. And we also are looking at municipal art collection plan thing too. We do have a public art committee. We do have a strong community that could share, that has expertise. As you recall, we had a very false start when we asked for your approval to add a formal public art committees. We had a great chair. He had to leave because of elder care, and we have been chairless ever since then. We do have someone who has just moved on to the commission and is well equipped to chair a public art committee. And then we are looking at, the master plan had a very large section called DEIA. And we really haven't done much with that. We do have a movement right now, Hispanic Heritage subcommittee forming by default, because we are doing our first ever Hispanic Heritage exhibition. We also have a few other Latino focused initiatives going on with the partners, CEW and others. That will have to be led by a commission member as well. Hence the need for a couple of extra members, because as members of the commission who have spearheaded the project here, they understand that once they take on a project, they're tired. So we're asking to add 2 more members so that we can increase the ability for the commission to conduct this kind of business.
Any questions?
I misheard it first and I had an extra category. In addition to municipal art collection, I wrote public art, and then that made me think, do you get involved in like the choosing of the murals around Old Positive?
No, because those are all private. You're raising something that was a bone of contention for my predecessor. Because the positive folks thought that we put together a public art policy that we were going to approach on that territory. We're only focused on municipal. And we have a lot of responsibility.
And then, sorry, Tara, go ahead.
So you mentioned sort of like a collaboration between various not-for-profits and small organizations that are similarly focused and have some of the same concerns around fundraising and I guess grants as well.
Healthcare,
And-
marketing,
Yeah, and marketing, yes.
managing your money.
Right,
You have no idea how many people come in my office.
right.
So,
So would this in any way require, or would the city be in the position to be a fiscal sponsor?
with the city being in a position,
Under this,
we're trying to not do that.
okay,
Because we have so many who have come forward in the past year especially, offering to be fiscal sponsors of this city-based initiatives. So that helps in a large way because there's so many funding sources that do not fund municipalities. Or if they do, it's complicated.
right,
And or requires a match or this or that. The alliance can provide that match. The alliance can provide more together to qualify for those grants. So the members that we're looking at, we're not looking to involve all of the arts organizations in Kingston. I guess that was attempted 10 years ago, and because there were too many people at the table, it did not fly. Same thing that we did in Woodstock when I was at Niagara concerts. We, launched, Woodstock Cultural Alliance, but 5 organizations, the longest running and the strongest anchored organizations. And then we were able to pull everybody else on.
Gotcha.
So it's a normal year, it will be, putting that, the, areas of focus together, determining where the funding will be, determining, which of the anchored organizations might be able to become a fiscal sponsor for just for that initiative. And, speaking with the mayor, there are serious possibilities, and really have to hear this because I always thought it was a lost cause, but the number one is healthcare for employees of these small nonprofit organizations, most of whom are not offering me healthcare. So either they're not able to keep their workers, or their workers are going without healthcare, or they'll take their home. And this is moving into 2027, probably going to be an increasing concern issue. So it's been agreed that the first area of focus in the convening of the alliance will be to focus on, whether or not they're in a group, and the mayor is seeking 2 names of 2 possible insurance companies, one commissioner, another, and that would be there for the work. You also have a health plan for alliances. We're going to study that and see if we can't come up with something to resolve this. So basically, the alliance is going to be looking at, it's not a fluff alliance at all. This alliance is going to be looking at the common and increasing concerns for all of our Kingston-based nonprofit arts organizations, which, leads to reinvesting in the 160 million economic impact that we have on the city. But if we don't strengthen, then we might actually face more issues with the individual nonprofits struggling. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So, thank you. We have noticed, if you could tell me scurrying.
I know,
With Michelle and I, there is a little, issue that we'll have to deal with. It's not actually in our code. So you weren't necessarily wrong about changing the resolution. We just have a
The
resolution.
resolution creates a commission, but it does not actually create the statutory authority in our code or so. This amendment, we can make all your changes, but we will codify the commission within the code.
Yeah, so back in 2015.
Which
when
it
the
should
hard-
be done in 2015.
Yeah, 2015 when the hard-
It's great.
I'm saying 2015 because that's before all of us.
Yeah.
So none of us can take the blame for this. So yeah, and that's why I've been scrambling around because I'm trying to find where we're supposed to make this amendment. And it doesn't make sense.
Oh, wow.
So, well, the commission exists, right? And there is a resolution to support that, but we just need to codify it. So I could work, so is that gonna happen tonight?
Okay.
And is that okay?
That's awesome.
Okay, so but the only
We
thing,
wanted to-
and I apologize because I was doing that, so I just,
Yeah, that's what
I was,
yeah.
what was that?
It would be appropriate that one of the reserved articles, which were previous commissions, that would.
You could just like that one, yeah. But, no, it'll be an easy fix, we just have to get it done. But the only change that you are requesting tonight is to move the membership to none.
Add 2 members, move it to
Okay.
11.
Fill that.
I'm not.
Okay, I would have figured that when I read it, so that's the only, I can make that happen.
Yeah, it's, sorry, go ahead.
So I noticed that in the proposed changes, it would be adding those 2 members with consultation from the council. I think if we're adding members, it should be the council who appoints those.
So
members.
I can talk on that because this is something that we talked about last year when we made this amendment. Or when we made some amendments to this code that's not really a code, we can't.
But if it's called a commission, that has a legal definition in the charter, but since it doesn't exist, we could now rename it the Arts Committee, in which we could appoint people. Right, the charter reads the mayor shall appoint all commissions. So it's worded in this way to give the mayor unilateral authority.
Yeah.
If it doesn't exist, we can name it whatever we want, and then we should name it a
Well,
committee.
it does exist though. I mean, we do have, I'm gonna defer to Matt because I mean,
It was created by statute and it doesn't actually make decisions. It provides advisory.
Recommendations, advisory, advocacy.
That can be created outside the statute, but it should be codified within our statute. So as part of it, any changes that we're doing now should be codified. And, you know, your discussion as to who's gonna make the appointments, you know, that is a valid consideration before you guys actually put something in the code.
so the reason why we didn't do it and we were advised from last year was because the charter says the commissions and boards are appointed by the mayor, but I remind you that the charter revision is going to be occurring, and I imagine that that's going to be one of the decisions that the committee is going to be considering is who tasks or who appoints that, but so that's the reason. I mean, I guess legally we could probably change the name, but I mean, the board does exist now.
It does exist, either can be done, but I would say, you know, depending, like right now, I think the most appropriate place would be putting it in the chapter 22 with
Yeah.
commissions and having it, since commission is a defined thing. You know, it's up to you guys and to think about how you want to do it, but it seems like it's already a commission. It would be appropriate to put it within that statute, the chapter that deals with these commissions, and then change the appointment or the charter as you guys do the charter review. Seems to be the cleanest way. If that's, you know. Yeah, but again, yeah, it's up to you guys to discuss. I don't know, you wouldn't codify it in the committee or the commission section if you were going to change it to something other than a commission. You'd have to find a other appropriate chapter of create a new chapter within our code. If you were gonna do it as something else other than a commission and codify it. Yes.
So I have a question, this actually goes, I guess it goes to Kit, which is, can you talk to this group about how commissioners are appointed? I mean, typically, there's a group, I mean, typically the commissioners suggest, or you suggest, or make recommendations to the mayor, who then, you know.
So that's exactly what we do.
But in other words, this group or any member of the council could make a suggestion to you
Absolutely.
that you could bring forward to the commission and then
Right. We
to
take
the mayor.
There's a lot of feelers out for strong members. They usually spend time with me and then they fill out the application. And the commission considers the application via interviews. And then recommendations are made to the mayor and the mayor.
Well, I don't think that's, yeah, Michael.
So I can appreciate that this commission is working well and that's a successful model of that. But I think that commissions appointing their own successors, I think is a pretty dangerous thing and a risky thing, that we are the avatars of the public. So that's why I think we should at least appoint some members to the board.
This is the model you're speaking of is the model we worked with when I was the interim executive director of the Herndon Foundation for the Cultural Arts. Several were nominated and appointed by the board, and several others were appointed by the city. And that got a little complicated, but it was actually great.
I imagine if you wanted to address your concern with you guys having a role, you could probably, without removing what's required under the charter for the mayor to appoint, but requiring that, you know, a recommendation upon a recommendation by the common council, the mayor shall appoint, because then it will be consistent with the mayor appointing, but it requires a recommendation from you guys first, something like that, throwing that.
I think isn't that what we do now? Right?
I think it's
Right.
slightly different
Yeah.
because it was consultation, but that was, he used the word shall, which we don't have that word. So they shall get, he or she shall get, the mayor shall get an appointment. Sorry, recommendation from the council.
Right, so it doesn't involve the common council, which would be to me a beautiful thing. Because the common council are representative of a lot of boards. You are hearing a lot of things that my commissioners don't necessarily hear. So, the mobbing in Herndon was such that I was able to hear not only from the, city appointed, but I also heard from the board appointed. Everybody was, they had their legs everywhere. They had their tentacles everywhere. And it was just a great model.
And
I can give you, if you want, I can actually, contact the Herndon folk and they can give you any of their charters or anything that they did.
No, I think I mean, I have, it's just trying to make sure that we're also aligned with the charter, that is the issue. Because I do agree with Michael, I mean, I don't like how it's just one person appointing all the boards and commissions, I've never liked that, but it's just because we have to align it with that, but I have language, so.
Well, I just want to read what's exactly in here now. Applications submitted to the City of Kingston for appointment to the Arts Commission shall be reviewed by a nominating committee of the Kingston Art Commission, who will then conduct interviews and present candidates to the Kingston Art Commission, which shall make recommendations to the mayor for appointment.
And you can change that, so make recommendations to the council for approval. Approved candidates shall be appointed by the mayor, so then it's consistent with the charter language about the mayor's doing the appointment. But you guys have to approve a candidate before they can actually potentially be appointed. And then you could put language in there. And that way you're having some control over who becomes appointed. You guys would have to approve them first as a prerequisite before they could be appointed by the mayor.
yes, does that language mean the council makes a recommendation, the mayor then
Well, it sounds like the recommendation would come from the committee,
it comes from the committee.
presented to
and
the council,
presents to the council,
who approves
and
potential.
then the mayor must
People.
appoint them.
Well,
No,
You can't do that.
you can't do
Not
that.
with her.
But the mayor has the power under the charter to appoint, but you guys can approve who is qualified and from that, or whatever. At that point. So maybe you guys, they might recommend multiple people, say these people are qualified and recommend them. Then you guys approve and say, if we don't approve this person for whatever reason, but we approve these other two. And then the mayor could appoint both of them, one of them, neither of them. But
And this all may change once it's under revision, what we want. So if it's okay with everybody, I could draft what it would look like to codify this. Using that language, and I could pass it around, before, and then of course adding the sale. So I appreciate it.
Right, but I think everyone's okay with adding your original request of it, including 2 more commission members.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And I would just like to put in a good word for the commission because I'm a liaison, so I go to those meetings. And I would say that this is a very hardworking group of volunteers who are really out there in the community, assisting all of our wonderful arts organizations. So thank you. Work hard. They do.
Yeah, no, you've been very, very busy all summer. We see your hard work and we all appreciate you and support you and your departments. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll share it with you before next month, but I don't imagine you have to come to the meeting unless you want to. We should be fine. Thank you. Yeah. You're always welcome to come. I know that's any meetings that you want.
Okay.
I just.
The next thing is in addition to the standard workday for New York State retirement system. This was submitted by City Clerk Tinty on behalf of Corporation Council. So this is standard procedure that we actually did also earlier this year before our new Corporation Council was onboarded. So Elisa is not here tonight, so yeah, she just asked me to speak on it. I can do the committee report, so. Okay. I'm gonna read the committee report. A resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, adopting the standard day workday for the New York State retirement system as per attached. Can I get a motion? Motion by Michael Tierney. Second by Rick Chad. Okay, any discussion? Okay, we'll call for the vote.
Just out of curiosity.
Yes. It's whatever the person that is logging all of their work for 3 months submits to their hours. Then it goes, they base the retirement system for that
Oh,
year.
okay.
Yeah,
So
On that.
it's a derivative of the number of hours.
yes.
West,
What?
last 3 months of the work.
Yes, yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 5-0. All right, next we have agreements with Golden Hill. We have Matt Jankowski from Corporation Counsel's office here with us.
And we do also have that individual from Golden Hill, so
I can just give a quick explanation, if that's all right.
Yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Will. I work with Penrose. We're the
Okay,
developers of the Golden Hill, the housing project with my partners and family. Tonight, worked with Matt to put forth I think it's in either a license or easement agreement. Just for replacement down where Golden Hill Drive meets 332. There's been this old wooden sign that's really tall that has all the different things that are up on the hill. Everybody knows it. We offered to replace that. It wasn't like part of our project, but as the thought of kind of transforming the entire property and knowing that maybe that property as a whole will transform in the years to come. We offered to replace it as part of our project, but it's not our land, and we thought it was county land while we were replacing the light, but it's not. It's city land. So we working with Corporation Counsel, we determined that this was we had to put in place a license or an easement. So we're here today to ask for that proof so we can remove the wooden sign and replace it with it's about like a 5-foot monument sign. It'll say generically Golden Hill. We kind of represent everything that's up there and be a little less prescriptive like on menu like it is now. So any questions?
questions?
Oh.
Alderman Tierney?
There are in the plans part of a light. Is that existing light or is that new? And will you guys be paying the electricity for it or is that?
It's a stoplight.
No, not the stoplight that shows on the plans of the monument. There's a light fixture.
Because we're bringing power or doing lighting on the light.
Okay.
Signs. There's.
So that's excellent.
Yeah, so we're not doing, I'm believing in lighting this time.
Okay.
That challenge is like each night, some of the reasons. Yes. Do you have a question?
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, the question is just, you listed there are a lot of different entities that are up there. Have you spoken with the other entities about whether or not they're, about this sign and they're all excited about it as well?
Yeah, so we worked with the county planning who reached out to, I mean, the majority of these up there are county, and then there's the nursing home complex and us. So the county kind of did that coordination and made the recommendation and reviewed the sign itself and
Okay,
helped us plan it, so.
thank you.
Do you have a draft copy or mock-up of the plan, of the sign that we can see?
I think
It's in the provided materials, but I'm sure that it's not our usual page 8.5 by 11, but may not have printed. It's page 28 of the mountain. Twenty is the full list. And the picture of the monument.
Here's the mouse.
Oh.
What I have.
They're maps.
Like a picture.
Yeah, just yeah.
exactly.
Any other questions?
Just as an aside,
Mhm.
is it fully leased up?
Well, next month will be 100% leased.
Oh, okay, great. And what percentage are you at now?
90, so
What percentage are you at now?
like 85 or 90. think we have like 15 and 20 more parking facilities next one. So.
Great. And those are from a wait list or?
So we go to the state's housing lottery. We received about 1,400 applicants. We've actually worked through that list.
Okay.
And now I think we're doing a mix of people who were on it originally and then people reached out directly.
Great.
So.
One comment, my
Yeah.
3-year-old son goes to daycare at Seedlings.
Oh, great.
One of the
Nice.
use cases up there, and we love it.
Awesome. That makes me very happy. So thank you very much. Important part.
Just a little
Quickly, just in case I missed it. So you're saying there's no weight on the sign?
I'm not aware of us.
Okay, it's on your plans.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
mentioned.
it's on your site plan. So I just took a look at the site plan. I just wanted to say real quick, so.
I mean, but either way, the license agreement says that they will be made.
Yes, they will,
Yeah,
It's so much great.
It's our problem. So if it's.
Yeah.
Just curious.
And you guys can, I think it's an agreement. So if it needs to be on, you just,
Yeah.
you have the power to remove it and then it's gotta be on.
Tara?
Will the signage be compatible with the signage that we see about the city?
Did you see it?
I'm not sure if I answered this question.
Nice looking
I
sign.
don't know exactly what you're referring to. So
It does not look like the sign.
The way.
I think I've seen yes.
Yeah, the wayfinding signage.
Yeah.
with big-
No, it doesn't look like that.
Doesn't look like, okay.
It's like a stone.
Okay, one sentence at a time,
The
sorry.
darker palette.
You know what I'm saying? There's your words about it, I think it.
Okay, any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I'm just finishing the committee report.
No, but I'm saying the rendition. It is, you can't really read that. Right, let's say it.
What is it on the bottom? The-
I don't know, what's it gonna say?
Okay. Sign. All right, so it's a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, authorizing the mayor to execute a license agreement with Golden Hill Housing Development Corporation and Golden Hill Owner LLC for the installation and maintenance of a monument sign. May I get a motion? Okay, second? Tara, thank you. Any discussion? All right, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. Okay. All right, next up, we have the advisory opinion from zoning working group regarding best batteries. Is anyone here to present on that?
Yeah, came from Barton, so I just assumed that he was calling. But I also do need to admit that I didn't have, because I missed the email from Michelle, asking for Climate Smart to be present, so I will do that for next month. But I did not know that part
Okay,
was included.
okay. So I really feel like there's nothing that we can do until we understand the Climate Smart's intent behind their current energy work here in the city of Kingston. And can come and explain the letter that they sent to the mayor. And so they cannot take action. I know that the zoning working group doesn't have the expertise to work on the zoning. And I would say we don't either. So what I would like to do is that the Laws and Rules Committee establish a ad hoc task force for about 6 months and make appointments on it. I put together some draft language for it. I can share it and submit it for our next meeting so that we establish a task force that will include planning, it will include buildings and safety, it will include engineering, so that they can, fire department, maybe members from the county, emergency services, members of the council and then possibly members of the public. And they've started laying out a scope of work that they could study based on what the planning board said in their letter, or what Sue Cahill said in their letter, and based on some public feedback. So I can pass that out, get that out, and then we could get this presentation and so.
This seems to be fun. I mean, I thought that they had asked some good questions, you know, in their letter. And I think, I would like to just put this out there for people to think about. I know that when the town of Hurley had recently, like last fall, they started looking at what kinds of regulations they wanted to add into their code. And they also allotted about 6 months to do the research, and they passed a best moratorium that allowed the work to go on of that committee without having an entity come in, a business come in and make a proposal. Because if it wasn't in the code, it then became sort of complicated if someone was coming in. So I would be happy to share that resolution.
So I'm gonna send an email out to everyone that what I've put together, and I was thinking that the first phase, the first 30 days of this zoning working group could actually establish, you know, the definitions for the best sizes, review some of the recommendations from the original zoning working group, and then also review and assess whether or not we have any current or pending projects, best projects coming in, and evaluate the legal justification for a 6 to 12 month moratorium, whether we need it or not. And that they then could, they would have to determine if we need it or not. Like, I don't think that we are capable of determining that. So we would ask either they produce language for a moratorium or draft, you know, they would have to draft an findings of fact and statement of purpose for a moratorium, or provide a zoning sufficiency finding to us that says that it's not necessary to pass a moratorium, that the group, you know, will explain to us why what we have in our code is sufficient enough and not have a moratorium. So.
And you think 30 days is sufficient to do all of that?
That's just the first 30 days. Like within 30 days, determine if they know enough now,
Right.
we have enough to decide whether or not we need a moratorium, how long it will
Right,
take
no, that's
to
what I'm
do
saying.
the further work. Yeah.
I'm suggesting that perhaps we elongate that time.
Yeah, so that would be like the first 30 days, and then if they feel like they can get the work done in 90 days or, you know, or less than 6 months, they would tell us.
I think Carol's saying,
Yeah, that rather than 30 days, why not 60 days for that exploratory period?
On whether or not to determine they have, because then it's leaving us open in case. If somebody could put somebody could put an application in, so the sooner that gets done, the better to determine. And
we are capable of doing a moratorium. I'm not necessarily in favor of it, but I mean, we have done that before, and there's another moratorium that we're considering in a different committee, so we could do that. But I'm just, you know, if this is the path that we're going down, you know, I think we just have a conversation with the people who would, like with Sue Cahill and others. Because I imagine if there's going to be a task force that is going to be considering this, they're not then going to allow for, they're gonna wait for this task force to happen. So the planning board, I mean, if they're not just going to push a best thing.
Well, I think that's a
good
question.
Well, the issue is, basically, once the application is submitted and something is before they have a potential that's right that we can't go back and then create these regulations after they've already.
But that project has to
I-
get approved.
No, it still would have to get approved.
So
It still would have to go through.
Right.
on the bricks.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm saying, and having a conversation with Sue, so we just keep the
Okay.
communication
Yeah.
open. But also if that, you know, so that's one path, that's kind of where I'm leaning, but I don't think a moratorium is necessary, but the other path, is I think the council could decide if a moratorium is necessary versus the task force, which I like the idea of the task force in general, but the moratorium, I think it should come from the council, whether or not we want to do that. But like I said, I think I'm more for, like, I think the open communication, I don't think it's necessary, especially if we're moving forward with this task force. But maybe I'll be.
Sarah, and then.
You could, she was back for.
I like the idea of maybe a conditional moratorium, like a moratorium that just says, we're not accepting applications until we decide
Well,
what.
that's
That's the idea.
what the moratorium puts in place.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that way a developer who wants to develop us doesn't come in saying, well, there's no rules and regulations here. And then we don't have that fight because we established a moratorium.
Yeah. So I just sent everything to everyone and I sent it to you, Matt, too.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the advantage of a moratorium is that it buys you that length of time to figure out what's going to be appropriate without, just as Matt was saying, without somebody coming in based on our current code, which doesn't define or doesn't make any regulations or have any regulations about these kinds of facilities. And so that's why I think some communities are doing both. And that's what the town of Hurley did. They passed that moratorium and then within 6 months, they've already had suggestions from their task force, and then they approved them. So the moratorium, ended.
Yeah, I think we should do it, we either do it or we don't, but just not put it on the task force.
I just felt this task force would be a good body because they're the ones that are going to do the work and determine how quickly they could get it done or not, or if we need to have time. So Michael?
Yeah, I don't think a moratorium is necessary. One, because I think it also just engages in a lot of fear mongering around these things that have been happening. And two, looking at the recommendations from the zoning task force or zoning working group, I apologize. It looks like there's only 3 locations where if they're even feasible within the city of Kingston, one of which is amongst state land. So that would require the state legislature to pass a parkland alienation bill, which I don't see happening. Or it's around the newly acquired Rondout Uplands or whatever we're calling it, which is again now city park and require an act of the state legislature for parkland alienation. That is off of Beale Street. The substation is off of 32, it looks like. I'm looking at a, yes, down in Wilbur. And then the third one is the substation off Hurley Avenue, which already has the facility being constructed at Coleman. So I don't actually foresee a large-scale battery storage operation even foreseeably happening in the city of Kingston because they need to be next to these substations.
Yeah, so I think if we had a presentation tonight, we would actually have more information to even have this discussion, so.
I do have one more point that's sort of tangentially related. Thank you for including the energy plan. The City of Kingston Municipal Renewable Energy Implementation Plan. I don't recall us ever adopting that. And that really concerns me that the city is going through with a plan that hasn't been approved by the city council when it's our responsibility to okay these things. So I have a lot of concerns about how far this implementation plan has been implemented without our input. And it's just very concerning. So I appreciate you
Thank you.
shining a light on that.
Yeah, so I think we need to start like where it all starts and work from there. So do we maybe, instead of waiting until next laws and rules, we could have something at the caucus or have a meeting, a laws and rules, special laws and rules meeting before caucus, and so we don't wait a whole month?
Yeah. Just be considerate of the fact that I'm about to ask you to get another meeting so for something else. So.
I need to say that.
Oh, that's my thoughts. I didn't realize that there's gonna be 2, and I don't know if I can line it up to be at the theme. So, I can tell you what that is, if you don't mind, me kind of jumping the gun a little bit here, but, the charter revision has, the motto is complete. I don't have names, although the 12 people have been emailed. So we will have, there was a total of 228 people. Which means that we have 216 names and applications to sort through to find 3 that we want. And we gotta do that in a meeting, and we gotta do it really soon. So that has to take precedence over anything else. So we need to find a date for that, and I just don't know if you want, I mean, I can try and arrange it where we do have both, but.
How long do you think,
Will I get the,
are you gonna forward the applications to us prior and we could do,
I will, I don't have it.
okay,
Soon as I have it, you will have it, as soon as I get to my computer.
okay.
So I will send it to you. I don't know how they're sending it to me. They, like I said, this all came this evening that I found myself, found out that, right, it was 228 total and, that they have everybody emailed, so.
So will the,
But I will give you the time to look at it, so we won't be searching through 216 applications.
but is it, so what I'm wondering is if the, well, is the Law and Rules Committee that will then pick those numbers? Or will the whole council, like, what if we did a weighted vote and everybody could go through them and do like a weighted vote on their side, each council member, and then that would, I don't know.
Well, we could, I mean, so how we've done it in the past is, I could send it to you and you could all put in the rank, do a ranked voting. Method of doing that, but we still, but I kind of thought that we would want to be together to. Because we have to decide on 3 members, so we could start with that, like, we still have to have a meeting, so that's why I was like, I don't know that extra step of doing a ranked voting is gonna be. Super beneficial, because we should still collaborate.
Right.
Since it's not like each of us picks one.
Right,
We
exactly.
can only do the 3, and I think it should be as. Many members, like I would like the whole council to be there if possible.
I mean, everybody can review them ahead of time, and sort of
Please do.
score them or tally what you think, so you can come prepared to say, these are who I want us to fight it out, not who it gets to be.
So can you, there's 9 of us, and then with Andrea, that's 10. So if you break it down, everybody brings 20 of them. You know, we'll give a couple people a couple extra, I'd really like to read them, okay, do the extra, the overflow, but how about you go down and rate those on a scale? And then bring your
And then come.
favorites together, you know, divvy 20 of them down to 5 maybe. And then
So then we would never see the entire.
you wouldn't see them all because maybe we create a process of vetting that out, what we would like to see, which is out there. Is that possible? I mean, it's streamlined.
That I think should be a legal question, attorney client. Would you like to do that?
I would like to know, yeah.
All right, can we just actually go back and just close out? Sorry.
So that's coming, so I don't know if you guys want to try to arrange the other.
I think that's gotta be a separate. What day is, we have a holiday coming up, so.
Wednesday, is it?
The holiday, that was a Monday.
What is our next meeting is November, I mean,
September.
September 1st, so August is the 31st.
Well, the 31st is Labor Day.
31st is.
No, the
No,
7th,
sorry.
Labor Day is late this year.
August is 31st and then,
Okay,
yeah,
You got it.
council is the 1st.
all right, so if we. So are we looking to call for a special meeting next week? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping, because I don't have a date of when I'm gonna get them, so I was kind of hoping for that, but yeah, I mean, the 27th, we could get it by. Like, I hope to get it before, a few days before that. So would that work to do Thursday the 27th?
I will have.
And mind you, this will take place in executive session as long as there's a motion second and vote for it. Can't guarantee it, but I'm going to.
Do we know Bob's opponents?
He'll be back by the time, he's gonna chair 26, and he'll be back.
For the public safety, right?
Okay.
I mean, we could do, typically I don't call Friday meetings because the public doesn't, but since it's most.
Alright.
I'm on your own 6.
I'll do the Friday then, yeah.
Yeah, so can we maybe plan on a special meeting prior to caucus?
Yeah.
Or,
I could reach out and find out what's beautiful.
for the zoning, the best presentation?
For charter, you mean?
No, the zoning for best.
I'm sorry.
How will that put us in kind of? Because it's not something that we have to vote on, so therefore we don't really need to get it done before the first. So. We're not really in a rush. I mean, well, again, unless we want to do it before we'll just gonna have the draft ready. But we could anytime before law and rules.
I just think that we should have that presentation to be able to work on what we need to work on at laws and rules.
So just anytime before the 16th.
Yes.
So potentially before August, but if that doesn't work, then it just could be before. Really the 11th. Oh. So typically just call a special meeting before August when we have to vote the next day, because we cannot get the votes since the presentation, so.
All right, so table that. And then you'll reach out regarding the charter.
Yep.
All right, next, old business city code. President Shaw and.
And I can put that, because I helped out with the chapter 2. So Rebecca took one, Nat took one. So I sent this all to you, and then I sent the summary, so I'm into. So I guess I'll just go through them in order. So the first one. The general provisions are 2 conduct of boards and commissions, maybe not that somewhere, just like there was. It's on the table somewhere. Okay, thank you, I'll just do a little bit easier. I'm sorry. So if you know, mostly what I'm doing is clarifying language to make it actually make sense to a person reading it. Modernizing some of the language, and also making sure it adheres to our actual practices, and then of course make changes if we think it's necessary. So, chapter 1 is really just the clarification, and then the 2 boards, because this just follows what our city practices is doing. All the non-advisory boards are there. Human Rights Commission, and then Kingston Local Development Corporation. But like everything else is just making it sure that when somebody reads this from the public or from the council, it makes sense. It's a bit of the legalese old language. But nothing stuck in that one, so that one, it would be great if we could approve of that. Chapter 3, I know there were some questions. Michael and Bob and me and Ruth made some notes. So, a lot of these I'm just kind of writing based on conversations that I've had with folks over the years, but that doesn't mean that there can't be changes. And so this one there was a little bit more substantive to talk about if we want, if Bob's suggestions, because the insurance is so high, we should just get rid of this altogether. But then Michael made a point, so I don't know, based on those emails, what you guys want to do, like if you want to.
I was more curious to hear from our corporation counsel's office on their opinion on the insurance requirement.
Okay.
If it is high or if there's a legitimate reason for it being so high.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, I wanted to clarify, most nonprofit organizations have to have $1 million worth of insurance anyway. They have volunteers, they have member events, probably all the nonprofits in our area, have that kind of insurance. So I know Bob said the insurance is too high. If it's extra insurance, then that could be a problem. If it's just the insurance that they already have.
But I don't think it's all just non-for-profits doing it, so I don't know.
If it's like an ad hoc loose rate of individuals, that's a different story. If they did it under the umbrella of a nonprofit organization, then they'd be covered
Right,
as volunteers of that organization.
right, but I think we haven't gotten anybody requesting to do this. And I don't know if it's because of the high insurance. But I would imagine that it would be more like an ad hoc thing for around here, don't you guys think so?
Well, Bob was saying that he used the language nonprofit organization, not for profit. So, and if that's the case, I would think it wouldn't apply because
Yeah.
they should already have
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the issue is more if it's an ad hoc group volunteers that aren't attaching themselves to a nonprofit.
Are you talking about liability insurance or are you talking about, what are the other types of insurance, like special events insurance?
It's just a regular, I'm not an expert on it, but
Right.
I've had that before in the nonprofits that I've worked with. You have to have insurance.
Sounds like errors and omissions and what?
No, liability, property damage, all the basics, but it's just like anytime we have vendors coming on city property for certain
Right.
purposes or other things like that, we require. In construction work and other things being done on city property, we require them to maintain certain insurance, liability and property damage thresholds. So if something does happen, the insurance coverage is there and, potentially cover damage.
But it's not extra insurance for doing that up the highway, it's the insurance.
No,
Yeah.
Well,
If they have.
but they would have to go to their insurance carrier and basically say, we need to cover and name the city of Kingston as an additional insured on their certificate for these activities or purposes.
And then does that usually cost a lot extra money, do you?
Yeah.
It can cost extra, but I don't know specifically for these organizations, what,
Okay.
it would cost.
That's,
Michael?
But I think to Ruth's sort of second point, it's mostly not-for-profits who would be interested in doing this, otherwise it would already happen. It's neighbors getting together to say the neighbors of John Street are taking care of John Street. Which they would, 5 people getting together are not gonna have $1.5 million to get on liability insurance. So I think the requirement should be waived, but I haven't heard a legitimate argument for keeping it or getting rid of it, other than the fact that it's.
Keeping the program or keeping the insurance?
The insurance requirement. I don't think it should be necessary, but I haven't heard of.
Well, the issue is if they're coming on city property and they're performing activities that we've authorized them to perform, and then like someone gets hit by a car, they're like trash, that's, you see the signs as you're going down Broadway. That's gonna be, the city has big pockets, we have large insurance. That's the type of thing a personal injury law firm is gonna be jumping on. And, that's why we require all these other things.
But can we just waive our liability for Adopt the Highway program, or do we have to require this?
It's our property that they're gonna be on. And basically we're authorizing these activities.
but can the volunteers sign waivers? They do.
Like it's much different if I'm just going along the street picking up trash on my own and doing something. Because the city hasn't authorized me to necessarily do it. I'm just doing it out of the kindness of my heart. I get hit by a car,
But you're saying like, do it hold harmless, like if you agree to do this, you have to do
Yeah.
it harmless.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, I,
So, but to that point, does Friends of Historic Kingston, who sponsors the clean sweep, do they show the city proof of insurance? Because the city shares, sorry, that was not intentional. The city like shares their social media posts. That seems like a tacit endorsement of their behavior. If clean sweep.
Yeah, I think these
is
are arguments that we probably should do outside of open meetings, so if you want to go into attorney-client and discuss some of the liability and other legal aspects of this program as well as other potential programs, it's best to be done in an attorney session.
you know that,
No,
Maybe.
I don't.
I do each other.
I mean, it's the chair, I mean, my government answer.
Yeah, and if you want to follow up with an email, maybe like just with your questions, probably not gonna give you the answers back via email. Probably we can arrange a call and discuss.
Yeah,
So do you wanna wait on this one, this chapter?
Yeah, let's wait. I'm gonna
There's no, I will let you know when there's one that is timely. No, this is definitely not timely, so we'll wait.
So we could gather our questions if he's gonna them then and we'll have a attorney client on it.
And thank you, Michael, for sending the information about what Dutchess County does. I thought that was very informative, so that could be useful to us.
But I'm not gonna make any changes,
Yeah.
because we'll talk about it and then, okay, so this is gonna be.
I'm gonna forward a liability waiver from something to everyone, just to see.
So chapter 8 is another easy one, because this is just clarifying what we do, so this is actually the only. Their board that the Colony Council is tasked to appoint, as you know, because we've done it, actually, I think we'll be doing it next week. Is the Board of Assessors. Board of Assessment Review, and that's because state law requires it. And in our charter, the code, it didn't actually say that, so it was a little confusing, so I just wanted, I mean, Dan Baker always knows that, so he brings it to our attention, and I know it, but this way, people in the future will also know, because it's clear.
We also do the rank guidelines board, because that's also by state law.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that code.
Oh, okay.
Is that in the code?
I don't believe it is. It's because it's part of a state law,
Mhm.
so I don't know if anything should be added.
So, I mean, it shouldn't be part of this, that's not,
Okay.
yeah, that's not part of chapter 8, so that's it for this one.
Do we need to talk about if a member is unable to serve out their 5-year term? What
So-
is that provided for?
I don't know, it's not provided, this is it in our code, and I reached out to Dan Baker, and that's what I've been doing when it's relevant to a department, and so I reached out to the department head to get feedback. He was perfectly fine with keeping it as it is. I was the one that wanted to put the RTCL law in there, because again, I think it clarifies for everybody. So he didn't see anything wrong with keeping it the way it is.
Okay, and
But that doesn't mean that we don't have to.
It doesn't affect there's no legal change, it doesn't affect the law at all. It's just clarifying it for the future, which I definitely think is probably a good idea, so that.
okay,
Yeah,
so
maybe
you
it's
don't
now 20.
address if a member cannot serve out 5 years.
Well, and they can always resign, and then someone else would be appointed and
Would
take
be-
their place for 5 years.
For the rest of that term.
Right,
Okay.
and that's what they have is standard. So I think you're just asking, should we codify that?
Codify that.
Okay, got it.
I think we, could if we want, like I said, Dan Baker was fine with
Yeah,
keeping it this way, but. You know, that's up to this. Up to you guys.
Michael?
I don't think we can do that because it's set out in state statute, so I think we can only follow what the
Yeah.
state statute says. So we can't make up and say if you miss 3 meetings,
No,
you're,
I'm not saying.
you're off.
No, just if
No,
somebody
saying if-
resigns, which has happened.
Yeah, we would have to follow,
Yeah.
exactly what's required by the state statute, but we could codify it in our code. We can't change it, but just to make it clear, so when the question arises, the answer is
Right.
clear.
I wouldn't mind having.
I think that sounds good.
The state statute is silent.
Well, it's addressed in the statute. I have to look it up.
It's not in the
It's
same.
not in statute?
Oh,
it's not even?
No, but I mean, what it does is that if somebody resigns 2.5 years through their term, the next person serves a term of 2.5 years. So
There's
staggered.
that to
Yeah,
Statute says this department each serving a 5-year term.
but it's referencing real property tax law.
523.
523 is silent on it,
So we would have to be signed.
pretty much, yeah, we can't fill that in.
I see.
But
But again, it's a practice that it's not broken.
Right. Right.
So I don't think, I mean, I get like, I obviously am doing all of this work to clarify things. So I appreciate that, but this one's not broken, so I think we could just
Leave it as.
leave it as I've changed it to reflect the real property tax law. So I will ask if we could move this one forward.
Sure.
Like,
so that point about, oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing, never mind. I was looking ahead at commissions.
Okay, yeah, and this one, now I'm gonna ask for us to wait on this one, because this is where I will plug in the, Arts Commission.
Oh, right. Okay.
So,
Let's see that.
yeah, so instead of passing this and then amending it again, we might as well just wait through chapter 22, we're gonna plug it into one of the original sections, but yeah, I don't think, and I just saw any questions on this one. This one is, like I said, I worked with Tawana on this, she, and then worked with the state and brought back what they requested, and I changed it just to the lighting. And clarified and modernized the language. Did you have
Right. I had a question on number D.
number change?
I mean, letter D, section 22-1, D. I'm a little confused with that. Unless salaries are provided for the members of the commission, they shall serve without salary. Don't you want to just say they shall serve without salary?
Yeah, that was my just that. Yeah, I'll just take the first part of that start with members of the commission.
And I had a question about under E, letter E. Do
All of this.
okay,
Right. All right.
okay, in making points, the commission and I should take into account various religious, racial, national, and the community with the goal of representing people from diverse backgrounds. Do you want to add that?
well, I think this is taken from state law, the language, yeah, these are, yeah, I'm looking at the state law as we.
Yeah, that one I would want to double check before doing that, and I think I don't think it's necessary.
No. Knowing the state of affairs.
Otherwise, everybody good with that, but like I said, I'll wait to add the arts.
I couldn't wanna wait on this human rights one. Just because there's so much coming out and there's other stuff in the state law that we don't actually have in our.
Well, I'm asking to wait on this whole chat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if there's anything,
Yeah,
please reach out to me. to let me
Okay.
know. Okay, chapter 60 is just clarifying, everything is looking through the evening, clarifying language. Chapter 79, even easier is to delete this chapter because it just doesn't exist.
I'm just curious, what was that?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I reached out to the mayor about it because I'm not gonna, just in case. I
Yeah,
just don't know it, and he kind of laughed, he's like, yeah, we definitely don't need that, it's been a while, so I don't know. And then also just skipping 180, chapter 180, the bus fares, obviously that's no longer relevant to Kingston, so that was about to be deleted. I'm gonna skip 130 for now, because I think that's gonna be one of the more talked about. 280, which is the electrical regulation, excuse me, this is one that I would like this to be passed, the committee today. So this came to me by Chief Bray, that they needed to make a couple changes to this, and I think I could put it in here, I brought the only substantive change adding annually to what must be provided, so we needed to do that. And then while he gave that to me, I just cleaned up the language quite a bit, because this one's pretty bad. But that was the one change, and like I said, it came from Chief Ray, who got it from the Board of Electricians.
There were some issues with consistency, between the statute and the practice. So.
It didn't help, the statute really wasn't clear.
Yeah, so we definitely need to clean up the statute, so.
And he asked for that to happen fairly quickly, so I don't know if anybody has
I
any
would recommend
questions.
It's on chapter 208, not 280, correct?
Oh, yeah, my summary was wrong. Wait, is it?
208.
208, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Is this posted in the packet? Sorry.
This was in the packet. the two-
This was. It was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, all the changes.
I spent at least a good class, so I mean,
Okay.
it should all be there. Okay.
Just a quick question, what is a calling hour? If you require to,
It's really short.
do you know that, Mike?
Calling out
Yeah,
in the electrical provision?
yeah. They must show proof that they have a calling hour. That's what it says.
Maybe just, the way I interpret it, I can reach out to ask, but
Just make sure they don't.
to make sure like an answering service kind of
Right.
type thing, that they make that clear, like.
They're
You can-
available, they're
Yeah, you know,
accessible.
I'm speculating, but that makes sense to me, so.
Ben, have you heard of it?
That's new to me.
Okay.
Just that phrase and
Yeah.
It's a fee for the hour, what their minimum first hour charges.
That's.
We're not understanding.
So like you can't,
To clarify it in here?
you can't just like show up
It's
to
in
charge.
history term.
Yeah, I don't want to make it, but
Yeah.
I wasn't asked to change this, I'm gonna say this. And after I made the changes, I also then shared it again with Chief Ray, and he said it was okay. So I would say it's not,
Okay.
don't touch that. So then going back to chapter 130, which was a really fun one for me to do, because it was just so crazy. So the advertisements and billboards. I mean, obviously you saw some of my notes, because there's a lot of things that I just didn't want to make decisions, not going to make decisions, so I am definitely not going to ask you to pass those. And happy to take any comments with changes, like I said, I changed the language to clarify and modernize, but in terms of some of the more substantive things, I would love to hear from you guys.
Michael?
So the first part about the, common council approving something versus the mayor, I think it is important for us to be approving something. For approving flammable advertisements, because we're the people who hear from neighbors, and as we've heard time and time again about noise complaints and things like that. It's ultimately us in the neighborhood who are the more finger on the pulse of where the public is at any given moment, rather than, you know, the administration that has had histories of just approving things.
I-
With the objection of neighbors.
I totally am with you, but I would just say. Maybe we have the process of how that would look like,
Well, permission of the common council to me implies a vote.
so how, would they have to. Have an application before us, so, just something, my worry is that we keep, I mean, 'cause. It's already here, right, and I've never seen anything brought forward to us, maybe that's because nothing's ever actually come forward, but. I can't imagine that like, there's gotta be stuff that was posted on a building, and we just didn't get the approval, kind of like the, residency requirement. We were supposed to be doing that when we weren't, because we didn't know. But others. So what I'm saying is I agree, but how do we make it so that actually happens in real practice? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And you're talking about approval for what?
This is,
Any fine or what?
Well,
Advertising.
Yes.
But
What is this? What advertising is that?
We'll take that.
July?
no, it's like materials. Yes, it's from.
Everything, like,
So it could
like
be
a
like a
fabric
paper or a fabric that's.
and so we're supposed to be approving of that as of right now, and we're not.
Right.
And I agree with Michael, but I think that we should be, but how do we make it actually happen? And, you know, I can play around with that, with figuring out how what that process would look like, but if anybody has any suggestions, I'm all ears, because.
My suggestion is putting regulations in place, but this seems like it would be something more appropriate for like the fire department
Yeah.
plan,
planning,
you know?
yeah.
Or, you know, planning addresses it with
With-
consultation with the chief or something, some wording in there where they have to, you know, get a recommendation from the chief of the fire department and before they make a determination, but it definitely doesn't seem like something that necessarily you guys should,
Right.
you know, you guys are dealing with bigger issues,
Right.
you know.
But it's also, you know, this has probably been in the code for 150 years. When people were probably like glue pasting billboards on any surface, or not billboards, but posting bills.
Yeah.
I think if it was a size threshold, you know, above X number of feet, I think that's fine. I don't know, what do you call that, not cubic feet?
Square
Wait,
feet.
is it square feet for a 2D structure?
Mhm.
Yes. Surface area,
Yeah.
so I think that, but I think, you know, obviously, we're not going to be approving, you know, taking a vote of the council anytime somebody wants to hang a poster saying there's a yard sale on their house.
No.
But I think that, you know, above a certain size, yeah,
The council to approve.
I'm in favor of that, but.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Is this on public property? I'm sorry.
It's the way the code is written, it says any building within 50 feet of an adjoining structure.
See, that makes
So does every.
That makes no sense.
It's everything.
So.
That would be no postering, like caddis laws,
Right.
yeah, yard sale, all of that.
That's why I think. of
I think you're right.
sizes.
I think you're right.
Yeah, of the sizing. Yeah. I'm not gonna fight my neighbor that wants to put up.
Yeah.
Well, there are separate sign regulations, there are
Yes.
zoning code.
Mhm.
That doesn't.
I think
address-
that's good enough.
Think about it,
Yes.
sleep on it.
Yes.
Yeah, and then, Michael, do you wanna keep going?
Well, sorry, let me find it. Specifically about Article 3, the pipe plant area.
Oh, great,
I don't think we should remove this section entirely, or at least we should rename it, because the way it currently reads says the posting, tacking, or taping of any signs, handbills, posters, or any printed material on any part of the stanchions, sidewalk canopies, or the planters within the pipe plant area of Wall Street and North Front Street is hereby prohibited. So the stanchions and the canopies are down, but the planters are still there, so I don't think eventually, we're gonna get rid of them, maybe. But I think while they're still there, we should keep this part of the code, and just eliminate
yeah, I'm fine with it.
stanchions and sidewalk canopies.
You guys could also just use generalized any city property or something like that, which would include not only uptown, but other city property posting sign or posters or whatever. So that you're not just keeping it limited to a specific area and units.
I do wanna talk about Article 4. B. That's where I put my comment, really?
Yeah, I know, I mean, yeah, it does,
But yeah, I mean, again, this is like, the city is not the city of Kingston, like the government is not following this, but the people are also not following this, and we have to figure out what is appropriate. So this one says any sign, handbill, sticker, or any printed material advertising an event, such as garage sales of performances, with the exception of real estate open houses, shall be erected or posted no more than 24 hours prior to the event and must be removed within 24 hours after the event.
Yeah.
Which is, that prompted me to like, really?
yeah,
Because that's kind of happen, and as a
and doesn't,
professional musician wanting to advertise something,
yeah.
24 hours is not gonna be.
For political signs.
Yeah, our political side.
Yeah.
I mean, political signs are allowed way more than 24 hours.
There's something
Like
else in
for-
political science, where it's 30 days.
That's
and
exactly,
size.
yeah.
Place.
So that's separate, but you know, just garage sales
Yeah.
or music events are the two things that I'm thinking of. You know, garage sales maybe, but music events, 24 hours notice is not enough.
If not enough.
And then making them take it down within 24 hours.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, ward,
I
ward
have
meetings, put up signage like 5 to 7 days beforehand. and-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to give people more notice, or maybe we don't wanna have these signs. The constituent did reach out to me, which is actually what prompted me to do this chapter earlier. Is because a constituent, complained about the clutter of signs. And you know, how there's a lot of them who the event is over, maybe even a month ago, and it's still there, so that's what encouraged me to dive into this chapter.
So whose job is it in City Hall to call somebody whose cat's been missing for 2 months? That's their
Exactly.
assignment.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I know, I mean, it just sounds so incredibly cruel.
Yeah.
I did not think about that.
Yeah, right.
Not like,
My-
Tony.
Who enforces? If somebody leaves a sign up more than 24 or 48 hours or.
I'm pretty sure nobody has
So.
looked at this code.
Like,
I'm just saying,
Yeah, that's what it's,
but that's what I'm.
but that's why we're trying to go through a lot of these outdated statutes, identify, make sure there's inconsistent statutes out there.
What would happen if you left it up for 3 months, the garage sale?
$50.
It's gonna
You go to
disintegrate.
prison, where do you go?
Well, under this, you actually, you could,
No, we
Could
could
have a
help
pay
us
scale up
every
to 6 months and-
I think most people are pretty responsible when they put up, I say their garage sale signs, because people keep showing up at your house.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
know, nobody wants that, right?
Right. Yeah,
Good point.
the signs and then the lost pets, because once they find them, but it could take
That's-
months. It's the musicians that you have to watch out for.
Yeah, I,
I think the whole article is unenforceable or not being enforced, and that's point, I mean,
Yeah,
130-14 explicitly bans all of it to begin with.
I know, that was even,
It's just not happening. So I don't think that we actually even need, at least section A or section B entirely. Or section C, because why find for.
Well, and I'm also completely against finding $50 for somebody who forgot to take down the flyer. Like, I get that clutter is not nice, but $50, that's too much.
what I recommend is that you have something, a fine as determined by the common council on their fee schedule. So as time changes,
Yeah.
you guys can address, and maybe it's, a $20 fine this year, but then next, 10 years from now, it might go up, and there's not other inconsistencies, which we've seen with a lot of these older codes. Not just the section where they actually have a listed fine in there, and then as you guys are updating fine schedules, you may exceed what is allowed in the code sometimes. And that's an inconsistency that we've been trying to identify and have to correct. So I would say moving forward, anywhere where you can make the fine something that's determined by resolution of the common council and the fee schedule. As opposed to actually putting number in the statute itself.
So how would you like me to do this? Do you want me to just draft a copy that I feel is equitable and enforceable and everything that we want, and then
go ahead.
we take it from there? Or I don't wanna do that without kind of permission of the council, but I could do that and see what comes up and then we can make changes from there.
Michael?
I just think all of 130-14 ABC should be removed because there's no way it will ever be enforced. People are gonna be put stuff on poles. I don't see the city taking its time to do that.
There's also how do you, like, okay, so-and-so's band is playing and they have a bunch of their friends putting up the posters. Ooh, how do you identify who put up, well, I guess we have cameras everywhere, but still. Are we gonna utilize our time and resources?
I just think it's like
These.
we should be eliminating scofflaw from
Yeah.
our code, and this is scofflaw.
I think I would support that and then just, especially if we have to put like one more thing on the fee schedule. Just clutter, that's
But I mean,
my.
again, like I said, I'm not gonna get rid of anything substantively without having a conversation with you guys, so I'm fine with that if that's the position of everybody, or I can still try and draft something. And then next month we could look at it again and still decide, axe it.
Yeah.
Carol?
only, cause I'm the neighbor that pulls down signs after they get up there, what I consider to be wrong with that. And so. I think I'd be able to say that, you know, if somebody approaches me and they have, it's like, why'd you pull my sign down? Well, because it's been up there 3 weeks, and the cat's not lost, the cat's dead.
That's the signs have been up for like a year.
So I'd like to be able to say, but you know, the city does not allow you to have the sign up for, you know, past a certain amount of time. So to a certain extent, it gives me a defense. But I can also understand that it does feel scofflawish and I can kind of do without that. So I'm like 50-50.
So why don't I, because I did also, like I said, I heard from a constituent who brought up this concern, so there's at least 2 people who are concerned about this in 25,000. Why don't I come up with some kind of compromise, so I don't get rid of it totally, and then we can decide if we still want to get rid of it. Does that sound fair, and kind of like whittle it down away?
Time.
Yeah, I don't sleep much.
Maybe it's a much smaller fine and it still may or may not get enforced, but at least you can refer to that in the.
Maybe there's no fine and the person that thinks their sign up has to go down, take Carol's place and remove all the signs that are left up.
When they do an adopted highway.
There you go.
It's restorative justice.
I really appreciate the comments on this.
I'm gonna do forever.
I hope y'all had fun reading,
Yeah.
how outdated some of this
Oh, yeah.
is, Michael.
The other point that I included was like a total ban on billboards.
That's right, thank you.
Which is something that I would like to see, but I wasn't able to find a municipality other than New York City which restricts billboards and a federal court case that allowed New York City to restrict billboards. I couldn't find a total ban, so it was something that I think the zoning working group should look at. But I didn't know the process between sending that email and just now between how to actually ask them to do something.
Ben?
The state of Vermont bans billboards on their highways.
States are allowed to totally ban billboards. Vermont, Alaska, and Maine do it.
How many billboards did you have?
There's one on Broadway.
Wilbur.
Is
There's
one
one
of the
going right up by the,
What does it say?
There's one,
It's usually that
East
post.
Chester too.
but I think it might be Joe Conway.
But which one on Broadway?
There's one on Broadway.
Attorney.
Uptown.
If you're going.
It used to be the,
It's right by the University.
Yes,
Interesting.
and isn't it for a law firm?
Yeah,
now it is for.
Every person, every firm or something?
Oh, okay, yeah, now I can visualize it.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
we could just decide that we don't allow a certain number. So,
Or not allowed expansion past what we
yeah,
have you guys
Like grandfather,
looked at the
three.
zoning regulations? We do have
Something in
billboard
there, yeah.
within the signage and
I could cross-reference, I'll look to check the zoning to see.
But how are billboard, I mean, there are companies that own the space and they allow for billboards to be erected on their property.
Right.
So how do you ban that activity?
Well, just like with any kind of sign regulations in our zoning, we can't ban, so let's say you guys decided to change the zoning code, billboards are not allowed in the city. They would have, prior, non-conforming use. And as long as they continued it and they can expand that use or change that use, they could continue it indefinitely. If they discontinue that use for a certain period of time, then they would lose it because now it's banned under our code.
Yeah, they just kept using it, they were using it, it's grandfathered and.
Essentially,
Yeah, right now it's only
Because they-
billboards are permitted in pre-existing billboard locations, specifically in special district commercial zones. We did it.
Maybe Matt can answer this. The existing billboards that are here now, we're gonna say by the underpass over here, there's seven, okay? So those companies right now, they're grandfathered clause, and so they stay.
Yeah,
They
then
remain.
where the billboards remain, but they can't like move them on their property, they can't expand it, make a bigger billboard, they can't.
So what happens to Terrell's point about the transfer of sale of these locations? Let's say billboard A, company A turns around, retains that. They sell the rights to that billboard to the next company, is that transferable and still grandfather
Well,
clause?
if the use is continuous, so just like any kind of use, like let's say,
Yeah.
we rezoned a building and now they don't allow commercial uses, but this was a commercial, we used
I
it.
wasn't sure if we were turning it
Yeah,
out.
it's sold and there's that continuous commercial use in the building, it would still remain, it doesn't matter if it changes hands as long as the
Well, I was just saying,
non-conforming use is continuous.
if they transfer the sale of that, do they lose the right to use it as billboard, as per what we're trying to do?
No, but if like, okay, they're closing down, we take the bill, or they stop using the billboard for a period of time while this sale's being transacted. And then, the next person delays. And then decides, after a year or so that they wanna start using a billboard, they then lost that use because it's not.
So I guess my question would be, is that language very much spelled out?
It's spelled out in the zone code.
Okay, that's,
Yeah, so,
And what's the difference between a billboard and signage?
I would have to look at how our zoning code has the definitions, but I do know signs are limited in their size, other signs, than billboards.
And billboards are,
Yeah, but I'd have to,
It can't be
They might be very-
well, cause I'm thinking of like Leo's. That's, that's like Sacramento and Broadway. It's a fairly large sign.
yeah,
Does that count as a billboard or is it signage?
If I had to speculate, I would say the billboards are primarily advertisements for a third party, where Brand Guidos is advertising themselves on their own. Like a billboard runs, you basically buy the advertisement for X number of weeks.
Right.
And that's a sign
So-
of their own building.
Under- zoning code, the definition of billboard is a sign which directs attention to a business, commodity, service, or entertainment conducted, sold, or offered elsewhere than upon the lot on which such sign is situated.
Oh,
Makes sense.
nice job, like. So it's a sign. It's just a big sign.
It's just a big one.
It's just a big one. Okay, so I will work on that and then bring it back, but there's no rush on this one, so just tweak our way through it. The next one is, chapter 3, there's only two more. Chapter 330 and then chapter 390. I'll start with 330. This one I would like to have passed today, same with the electrical one. This is a little bit more time sensitive. This came from Rebecca and 390 came from Matt. You want
So I'll speak about both of them. So, 330, the changes at 330, Rebecca did address those, but these are things that have been discussed many times previously, updating our code to make it consistent with the state code as well as to alleviate, we are currently in the process of trying to have a better, more accessible records management system in place, as well as a way of making those records available to the public more efficiently. As our code is currently written, each individual department has a separate records access officer. Each individual department is supposed to respond to FOIL requests, one of the things that we have, because FOIL requests generally come in through one intake and then can go to various different departments. So sometimes one department's responding to a request, another department is, it can be very, it's created problems where, one department responds saying, oh, we don't have any of those records. Another department's in the process of trying to get those records together. Sometimes it's sent to the wrong department. This eliminates that by creating the records coordinator, who's going basically the records access officer, who's going to coordinate with the department directly. So that is the major change, and we're also looking to utilize this software that's going to make it a lot easier for us to post information for the public, make it more accessible for the public, and assist with us, being able to respond to these, requests for public information. So the goal is to streamline our system to make it easier for the public to get the information that they have a right to from us. And this is just one of the steps that we're going to do that. So, any questions?
330-79 fees. It looks like A2 is it contrary to B and C?
You said a number again?
Yeah, 330-79.
9.
Oh, okay, it's under H.
Yeah,
Under H.
that, so the 9 was crossed out, it's 330-7.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
So
Yeah.
I did notice that as well. I had not had a chance to talk with Rebecca about it, but it may be something that maybe just clarifying, making it a little clearer there so that.
Yeah. So what it was is, 330-7.
That stuff.
Yeah.
The new stuff.
Yeah, so basically they're saying fees can't be utilized for, inspections for, inspection of records for review. And search.
Ruth, what was your?
Yeah, yes.
However, it is allowed for under the other subsection. What section is that? We're just saying with that, if it's more than 2 hours, which is consistent with state law. But an amount equal to the hourly salary attributable to the lowest paid employee who has the necessary skill required to prepare a copy of the requested record, but only when more than 2 hours of the employee's time is necessary to do so.
But that's state law. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, but one of the issues that we had before was we had general language where it just said that there shall be no fees charged for anything. And when we've had certain requests that will take up hours and hours of multiple employees' times. So it can be very costly to the city. So in certain circumstances, allowing for what's allowed under state law, when it exceeds 2 hours to prepare the records, to allow us to bill them for whatever the minimum salary of, whatever the clerk or whoever is preparing those records.
So the part that needs to be clarified is under H, section 330-7.
I don't see an H in that section. I just got like.
I think H is right above.
H is above it, it's the H.
Yeah, you're talking though, but you're talking about the contradiction between that and the general prohibition in A, 30-7A. Where basically,
A,
there's no fee for
no fee.
inspection, no fee for, employee time to prepare, and no fee for, so it should be maybe search for and prepare documents or the first 2 hours of. And I'd have to double check with, but I noticed that as well when I
Yeah,
was
it's just
doing it.
checking A, B.
And I would say, we'll clarify that
Yeah,
so that it's clear in the statute.
yeah.
Michael, did you still?
Yes, throughout this, there is the position or title of Records Access Officer or officers. Records is capitalized, but access and officer are not. Is this somebody's title? Is this a unique
It
position?
is a title, it's a New York State statutorily created title that every public agency has to have.
Okay.
And in this draft, where the position that hopefully will be created soon with records coordinator is going to be the same as a records access officer. So there's only one for the city of Kingston who's facilitating getting records from all of the departments as opposed to each department having their own.
Now, this is not really a question for this committee, but does this deputization of other records access officers come with
Yes,
pay increases?
so that will be on finance for next month.
Thank you.
Okay, so I was gonna reach out, so there's kind of 3 steps that I know of. One that we already passed out of finance was the
Okay.
Q
System, right.
the software system, right? Then this is to clean it up and then, making the budget or the line in the budget. Creating that position will be in front of us. For finance.
For each department?
No, not for each department, so this is just for the
One
one.
person that-
But I was thinking,
And maybe we could use different wording for these deputies. These are basically people whose responsibility, like each department is responsible for maintaining their records. So, and under our previous statute, each department, the department head was the records access officer for each department. This person who is gonna be potentially a deputy in each department is just gonna be someone from whatever who handles and manages the records for that department so that they can assist the records access officer in getting those records from the individual departments.
Okay.
So it's not, they're not increasing their duties in any way, shape or form. It's already duties that the department's already.
But this will help them a lot because they won't have to. Yeah.
So let me understand. So we're contemplating the addition of one position that would be sort of the center
The central
of,
person responsible for records, retrieval and.
Right.
You know,
but that person is actually taking the load off of what
all the
these other-
individual departments.
Was there any overtime associated with this activity previously? I mean, I'm just concerned, right, so I'm concerned about, as they are relieved of those particular duties, which have been heavy over the last couple of years, and we create another position, for a person, I'm just wondering how that makes sense.
So basically, because it's streamlined, it's being done, like, we definitely, city departments can really improve on how records are
Yeah, no,
maintained and accessed, and this is one so that one person, instead of having, 8 different people looking for records to respond to a flow request, we have one centralized person who is, so it should, instead of, and I've seen where departments, multiple different departments are producing the same records. So now we have 2 people doing the same exact thing in different departments. Now we're gonna have one centralized person. It should, from what I've seen with FOIL, it should be much more efficient and streamlined. And so instead of a lot of hours by multiple people, maybe one person, it should reduce the hours.
But it will definitely be more efficient and it'll definitely help our department heads. But they don't get overtime for doing this, but it will free up their time to do other things. So, I mean, but this is gonna be a
And really-
conversation in
Yeah.
finance, but. It's not going to, we will have to pay for this person and we won't get that money back by saying, it's less overtime, because most of the people who are doing it are department heads who don't get overtime.
I'm concerned with you when you add that salary on top of the software cost.
No, it definitely, obviously, it's a new hire.
But that's,
All right, so let's move on, sorry, because that's
I think this
yeah.
is Technically, I don't know, can we put in the code that the deputized records officers in each department have to be management confidential, so they don't get overtime for doing jobs that should have
We could make it as well, go back to some of the old language, so that each department head is a deputy records access officer. And basically the way it was working before, the department heads, and the way the statute's written before, could also authorize someone else to act, they're the records access officer, and they could have someone else within. Because I can tell you, most department heads aren't searching all the different records, it's someone within the department who handles records and was dealing with it. But I think maybe changing the language or making it so that the deputy records access officer is still the department head or someone appointed by them, utilizing some of the older language so that.
I mean, I have a lot of concern that we've seen this before, that people are operating outside their job description.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
And then they grieve it, and we suddenly have to now pay somebody more salary for doing something that the department should have already been doing this entire time. So I would prefer if it was clear that the department head remained the deputy records officer. Cause I think we could be wasting a lot of overtime searching down emails from 2006 City.
So is that something where potentially just change that language? But I know this is definitely something.
I know because it's time sensitive, but we're not gonna be talking about the the additional job.
Right.
Until finance next month, so could this be like, instead of fixing it right now, or maybe fix it now, pass it, and then.
That to you, as I said, I didn't work on this specific
Right.
statute, so I don't want to make that judgment call, but that's a judgment call that you guys should make.
How about this, sorry, but why don't we, if you can take this, are you taking notes to take back to Rebecca? Vote on it tonight to get this moving along, knowing that we'll hear back from caucus, and if we are satisfied at caucus, we should
Send it back.
send it back. This way it moves it along, but gives us little time without, does that work for everybody?
I'm good with that.
And with the changes that are noted, and this doesn't mean that we're approving of the new position that will be in finance.
But we've made the new position in this section.
We're basically naming the public records coordinator is the records officer.
So you're creating a position.
And
Well, not really, because if we don't have a line for it, I mean, it still can't happen, but maybe we put this off another month and just do both in the same meeting.
I mean, the way that it's written, not being capitalized, I do see public records coordinator there. But public records access officer is just added to somebody's job description, it's not a position. So we just for now remove 323(1). I think it's fine for them, kind of total, that this is sort of a backdoor we can create a position without.
Yeah, I also just want to point out that from the perspective of the person requesting the records, it's a lot easier to have one point person for all the departments, because a lot of times you don't really know where certain entity resides. It's something from building, something from planning, it's something.
Well, they do right now, it's like they make the request to the city clerk.
Yes, so they don't have to determine,
Oh, okay.
it's John Schulte's, yeah. But I think that would be a good, part of the conversation when we're actually talking about the position, so why don't we just. Rebecca,
I'll take the notes.
we'll table this, and we'll do both position and the code. In September committees. And we'll see perhaps if they're voted through, October votes. Okay. Any other with that one? Thank you. and thanks for coming. 390, I'll turn to Matt because he's the one who, this, we don't have expectations, actually, we don't want this passed necessarily today, there's like more changes to this.
So, yeah, this is something, this is primarily our vehicle and traffic statute, which deals with parking, as well as, speed, school zone, notices of liability. There's a lot of issues that need cleaning up in our old code, as well as consistency with the fines that are in the fee schedule and those that were listed in the statute. So I don't know if you want me to go through all the specifics. The one thing I noticed in the packet that I got off the website was that it did not include the statute. So have you guys, none of you guys have even seen? Yeah, so.
Because I sent it.
No, I'm sure you
in the
did,
bundle.
but it's, yeah. So, regardless, there's additional, I was contacted, this week about some truck issues, pertaining to trailers being parked. And so I'm gonna look to put something in there to address that as well. And, John, Tui and I spoke on Friday about modifying and trying to get a unified administrative adjudication process for both parking tickets and speed, the school speed zone notices of liability. So I think that these are other important changes, and rather than piecemealing it through, coming back next month with those two new things added to the current changes that should have been provided and posted up there. And then just doing it all as one modification to that chapter.
When you looked at this, did you look at it from the city agenda website or what I sent to you?
The city agenda website.
When you sent it,
I have their zip file.
so did you get the full version of it?
I have a version that's 119 pages.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
so,
the city website just had the first 2 pages.
so you guys did get it in the zip folder, so I was gonna resend it to you, but I don't need to, because you do have.
So why don't you guys review that? If you have any questions for me before the next meet, you can ask questions before right now.
That's okay, trigger. There's section, oh, I lost it. You just highlighted without suggesting any changes, section 390-22, use of monies collected for meters. It's just highlighted, there's no suggested.
Because I wanted to look into that. I don't know, and that's a question that I have, like, are we following that?
Okay,
So
that was my only.
and maybe you guys can answer that question, maybe John, Terry, but I don't know the answer to that. Whether all the money from the meters are being used for limited statutory purposes outlined in there. So. That's my sense.
I had a few, do you want me to just email them to you?
If you want, whatever's easiest for you guys.
Well, one thing was the penalties under 390-21 seemed really high to me.
Are you talking about the fines
Yeah.
or, so the reason they put the fine, like,
And
Again,
possible
there's-
imprisonment.
well, all that, and that's something that we should eliminate from all of our statutes, and that's something worth talking about, because I'm sure, no, every single one of these statutes, the imprisonment was already in.
Yeah.
I didn't put that in.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you have been.
Every other statute, all of these other statutes, yeah, so it's something that I think probably consistent with the times, we should go through it and eliminate that from all of these
That's-
civil,
That's what I've been thinking.
like code violations. Because they all list, that, I don't know if you saw on the billboard, went up to 6 months. Better not be posting those flammable billboards.
Yeah, this was a fine to not exceed.
So if you want, I can, if you guys think that that's appropriate, do you want me to remove that from each section in this particular chapter? Perfect.
But then also talk about those fines, because not exceeding 250.
Well, the reason for that is it's generally saying violations of whatever that article is. And the fines itself are determined by you guys on the fee schedule. However, a conviction, it cannot exceed. So when we spend hundreds of dollars in resources going to trial on a parking ticket. And we've had multiple parking enforcement officers off the street for half the day, so we're losing that, and now they're sitting in court. You're paying an attorney to prosecute these, as well as there's another employee there, and we're recovering $50. It's not cost effective in any way, shape, or form. So that potentially allows for a judge, and I don't think a judge is ever going to give someone $250 on parking ticket, to potentially give it. And it also allows for, as time changes, you don't have to, keep redoing the fees in the schedule, because you guys are the fees in the statute, you guys are doing the schedule, and $250 gives us a leeway to, I would hope that, parking tickets, I know inflation and one goes up a lot, but I would imagine that we're not gonna get to that point where we're gonna be exceeding $250 anytime soon. But it's all up to you guys. You guys want to make the decisions. If you guys think that's too high, you can adjust it. But I'm just doing it to give us that kind of leeway.
And you make a good point about the cost of the city.
That's all I have, guys. So I'm asking you to approve the changes in chapters 1, 8, 60, 79, 180, 208. That's it. Everything else, I took notes and we'll move forward accordingly. Fun stuff, right, Lynn?
Reading it was even better. It's good.
Let's see, did we have to?
16 sentences.
Or no?
Probably not, because there's all the red lines.
Oh, right.
What I'll do is
Like
I'll get rid of all the red lines and send it to Elisa so it's a nice clean copy. Oh, for 79.
I don't see 79 or 6.
Those are 79 and 180.
One.
Yeah. Those are deletions. And they'll all include that. And I will walk through like the brooms or it's still.
And the resolution, chapters 1, 3, 8, 22, 60, 79.
Wait, say that again? Oh, you're,
Yeah, and that's the
which ones? Oh, I did 1, 8, 60,
Oh, not 3.
not 3. I was, you guys, we were gonna wait on that.
Okay, 1, 8, what?
1 to 8. I'm waiting on 22.
Okay.
60, yes. 79, yes. 130, we're waiting. 180, moving forward. 208, which I had the drawing and the number wrong in my summary, sorry about that. Moving forward. 330 and 390 will be waiting.
So we're waiting.
I'm gonna read the resolution. All right, so resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, amending chapter 208 electrical regulations, chapter 1 general provisions, chapter 8 assessment review board, chapter 60 information technology, chapter 79 merit award board, chapter 180 bus fares as per attached. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Yeah, motion by Carol Mickens, second by Michael Tierney. Any discussion? Thank you, President Shaw, for all your hard work.
208 was not supposed to be on there?
It is on there. I started with.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Anything else? All right, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. This passes unanimously and is the last item on our agenda.
Stay tuned for batch 2.
Oh.
Noise is on there. Noise, that was one of them, I started, I just, that one's a part of it.
I don't know.
You?
All right, it's 8:30.
Oh, yeah, when did you share this with me?
I think at one point, yeah.
We could be talking about, so it must be coordinating with them.
All right, it's 8:32. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? All in favor? Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody. Good night.